That's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
I think.
Plus, by the way, can you see our
Yeah,
logo
yeah,
in
you
the
can see. That's fine. That's
Absolutely
perfect.
brilliant.
Right, we're live. You see.
Yeah. There we go.
Go.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Let's Talk. No, Let's Be Real.
Well, this sounds very serious.
It is. Let's talk for real, mate.
Right, so this is the first. I've got a tissue in my hand here. Look, this is the first live webinar that we've done, and it's the two of us. Now, as you can see, right. So this is not about Cambridge speaking and exams and stuff. Let me just turn this one on. This is general English grammar,
yeah.
And we're going to choose some topics.
By the way, I love the fact that you're taller in this video than I am.
Yeah, it's the camera angle. It makes me look bigger. There you go.
That'll do.
And another thing, so
but you said real, but it's not really real, is it? Because we have chosen a grammar topic.
Yes. So, but we're getting real about something current, which is
exactly. But we have chosen a grammar topic that you have to focus on a little bit.
Absolutely.
So in this case, Christian, we've chosen used to, be used to,
yes,
get used to,
yes,
and usually.
That's right. So,
by the way, you will have a tape measure.
Yes.
Why?
Well, let's just explain first a little bit about this new webinar. So this is not Cambridge. This is it's called Let's Get Real.
Yeah. And
we're trying to get real with the subjects that we speak about.
By the way, Christian, when can we really go fishing?
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
We really want to go really fishing.
Yeah.
We
don't want to do this.
One of our students who can't go to the Arrow has tried it the other day.
Yeah.
But we can't, unfortunately.
So what we're doing is we're choosing some real things to talk about. And in this case, we're going to speak about the different phases of confinement. So at the moment, especially in Navarra, maybe not in Navarra.
If you live in a village, you can get close together now.
How can you?
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Except for the smallest village we have is Peralta.
Oh, they can't do anything.
They 5,800 people. They have to still keep distancing.
Okay.
We definitely, because we live in Pamplona, so we're you know.
So we can get together. Anyway, we're in phase 0, which changes on Monday, and we're gonna base this webinar on speaking about phase 0, and then the grammar subject that's connected to it is the use of usually, used to, be used to, and get used to, which are very similar, but there are some differences that we'll explain. First of all, like you see me playing with this tape measure. Now, this is just to make sure that Mark and I are the correct regulation. I see we touched fingers there. That's not good.
No. There's no physical.
Turn around so I can see the numbers.
Some checks. There was no physical.
This is the shortest 2 meter ever.
No. We have to go 150. Here's 150.
Right.
Keep your nose.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
we're fine.
We're okay. We're
all right. We're all right.
All right. So let's start basically. So what is phase 0? What is it?
No, firstly, Christian, explain our grammar topic to us.
All right. I'll start with usually. Most people know this. It's a frequency adverb. So we use usually to speak about the things, the frequency of which we do things. So you can use it in present and past actually.
So what do you usually do nowadays?
Well, I usually wake up a bit later, about 8 o'clock. Before.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't let you sleep now?
About 8 o'clock. I usually wake up at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Have some breakfast. We watch some television, and then we quite quickly start to do some games and activities together, so we don't get bored. That's what I usually do. What about you, man? What do you usually do?
Exactly the same as you.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that my daughters wake up half an hour earlier than you.
Okay, 7:30.
7:30, yeah. And then we usually have, what I usually do is let them play for a bit, and then we have breakfast.
Yeah.
Because if I tell them we're going to have breakfast in 5 minutes,
yeah,
they kind of invent the game for themselves.
Yes.
So it's a little trick, by the way.
Yeah.
If you have kids, let them play together for 20 minutes, and then you have breakfast ready.
Yeah. Or even better, just don't have kids.
Kids are pro and con. We'll talk about pros and cons later.
You can use usually as well when you speak about past. I suppose it's less common, but anyway, what you usually did. Before confinement. So let's make sure that we speak about phase 0. We're speaking about confinement because that's the current topic. And I suppose what we're talking about is what we usually do now.
Exactly.
And what we usually
did was
before
touch our faces a lot.
Yeah.
What do we do now?
Yeah. We don't usually touch our face, or we try not to.
Try not to.
Yeah.
So if you had a beard, you might have shaved it because you were constantly itchy and whatnot.
Yeah. And I tell you what I usually used to do.
That's a very example.
Yeah. So what I usually did in the morning was get up earlier and come to the office at about 8:30 rather than stay at home, obviously, because now we stay at home. Don't forget, we are 2 meters apart officially.
YouTube distorts the distance.
Yeah.
My arms are massively long.
Yeah.
Look,
YouTube
my arms
makes it
are
look
really
close,
long.
but
It's
not
not
that
even close to his face. So usually, by the way, we would sit much closer. I remember when we used to go fishing on a cold night, Christian, what do? We used to get really close together, didn't we?
Yeah, we used to cuddle.
Yeah, we used to cuddle.
Yeah.
It was not because of anything else,
but we were
further
away now. Right, so this takes us on to our next part, which is used to. In Spanish, it's soler. Sorry.
Solia.
Is it soler? Suelo, solia. So it doesn't matter, right? So when we use used to, it's basically to describe a repetitive or habitual action that you did in the past that now in the present you do not do. It's really important that we use it all the time, don't we?
Yeah. I usually went to meet my friends about twice a month, 3 times a month.
Yeah.
And nowadays, of course, I can't do that.
Yeah. Or I used to go eating. I used to go for something to eat with my friends.
So any habit you had in the past, use that.
Yeah.
I used to do this.
Yeah.
Or what's the alternative, Christine?
Well, just before we mention that, the important thing to remember is that it has to be a habit that you did in the past that now you don't do it. Like, for example, and this is easy to use with phase 0 and before phase 0, because obviously what we do is we speak about the things we did before phase 0 and the things that we do now. So before we were in confinement or lockdown, as we call it in English, we used to come to the office in the morning.
Yeah. We used to have classes here.
Yeah.
We used to meet people here. We used to have a social life, by the way.
Yeah. We used to go drinking.
No.
Yeah.
No, we never.
We used to go fishing. We used to go drinking.
I used to do sports.
That's not true.
All right, fair enough.
We used to meet our friends and have something to eat or drink. We used to go for walks at any time of the day.
Yeah.
Where now we can't do it because we're in confinement and we've got these restrictions. Actually, let's talk about the restrictions.
Yeah. So what are we supposed to do now? What can and can't we do now?
Okay. So if you want to exercise, so we used to be able to exercise.
I don't want to do exercise, but anyway.
Get out on your bicycle or go running or whatever at any time. But now we've got to do it between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, it's between 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock. So you can exercise between those hours.
Yeah.
You cannot go out on your bicycle or go running or walking after 10 o'clock in the morning or before 8 o'clock.
Exactly. So, for example, I used to go to the office on my bike.
Yeah.
And now I usually go walking and I go back by taxi.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do I go back by taxi, by the way? Because there's less chance that the police will stop you.
Okay, yeah.
It's true.
You don't want to get stopped by the police. I
have a paper, and I'm not 100% sure that the average Guardia Civil will
I don't know.
Oh, that's fine.
Not today, but I usually come to the office still on my bicycle.
You're a brave man.
Yeah, but that's my method of transport.
So imagine, like, we've now passed to phase 0.
Yes.
In quarantine, you used to do the same.
Only when it was said that people that were self-employed could go to their work space. I think.
Have you ever had an argument with what it is to do?
No, thankfully, no.
Exactly.
I don't
So, although you are allowed some things,
yeah,
I still go back to I usually use a taxi.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's just a little bit
safer.
Just to be a little bit safer.
Yeah.
So I walk to the office, but I go home using a taxi.
Yeah. So we used to do a lot of things before confinement that we don't do now. We used to get our hair cut more regularly.
Yeah.
We used to meet for drinks. We used to come to the office for classes. Now
Exactly.
we don't do any classes in the office because we do them online, of course. What else? Anything else?
My kids used to go to school.
Exactly. Yes.
That's a big change from my life.
Yeah. We used to visit our family.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't visit family anymore.
Which in Spain is a big thing.
Yeah, massive.
Because, for example, I used to meet my in-laws about once a week, definitely.
Yeah.
And now I haven't seen them for about 7-8 weeks.
Yeah.
So depending how much you like your mother-in-law.
Yeah, this is big. This is a big thing for Spanish people because they're usually Spanish people usually get together with family to have lunch or dinner
often,
at least once a week,
yeah.
Usually. But now it's not very typical. So you could say we used to have lunch together once a week, but now because we're in confinement, we don't do that.
No. And you can use the past tense as well. Usually we got together.
Also, yeah, we got together.
Usually we got together for past habits, or we used to get together.
Yeah.
Both past habits.
Yeah. Any other things in phase 0 that we need to speak about, like things that you're allowed to do?
All things, for example, I can't get used to the fact that I can't go with my family out. So we'll tell you, one parent, 3 kids, 1 kilometer, 1 hour. That's the rule, right, Kristen?
Yeah. Within a kilometer.
I can't get used to the fact that my wife goes out with my kids, and I have to stay home.
Yeah, and clean the house.
Well, yeah. I can't use it.
Mark cannot get used to cleaning the house, right? So
No. I am quite used to that.
All right. So this is the third grammar subject for this, and it's not used to, it's be used to or get used to.
So for example, I am used to cleaning the house because I've always done this.
Yeah.
Get used to it. When do we use that?
All right. So it's quite typical that the verb get it's used to describe a process. Like obviously, a process means from the start to the finish, or when the process is continuing. So let's just first of all let's go back to what be used to means, and you can use the verb which comes from the Latin verb to be accustomed to something. In Spanish, it's acostumbrado, right? Acostumbrarse. So you can be used to something, and it means that you are accustomed to something. For example, myself and Mark, living in Spain for more than 10 years, we could easily say that we are now used to living in Spain, and that is important to remember the structure as well. So it's the verb be used to, and then if you use the action verb to describe I'm used to living, or I'm used to speaking in Spanish,
we are used to, or people are, for example, in Spain, people are used to or not used to the confinement. What would you say, Kristen?
Well, definitely not.
Really?
So
they're not Finnish.
Exactly. You're not from Sweden and you're not from Switzerland.
So Spanish people are not used to keeping distance to other people.
Exactly. Spanish people are more used to hugging and kissing.
Yeah.
And you can't do that now. You used to be able to, but you can't do it now. You've got to keep your distance.
So we can do the Japanese salute.
Yeah, or just wave. But so Spanish people are not very used to keeping their distance from people, because you're very sociable, beautiful creatures. Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm married one. Have you married a Spanish?
No, not yet.
Right?
Not yet.
All right.
Let's describe get used to. Right.
Yeah.
So Remember, there are some verbs in Spanish that you can use in the continuous form. In English, there are lots of verbs that you can't do that, and one of them is used to. Okay. Another one, for example, is to know somebody. Right. I think in Spanish you can say "nos estamos conociendo," which is like we are knowing each other, but you can't use that. That's a stated verb, to know somebody. So we quite often use this verb to get. And then you can use the verb to get in the ing, the gerund form, and it describes the process. So, for instance, like, what can I say about confinement? Mark, are you getting used to giving classes online, for example?
It took me a while, but I am getting used to it now.
Yes.
So, for example, yesterday I had a class where I thought the exercise that worked really well in class didn't really work online. So I have to adjust. I have to get used to it.
Yeah.
But Christian, I've got a question for you. Did you, past tense by the way, did you get used to quarantine, or did you think of reasons to leave the house?
Honestly, I think that I got used to quarantine quite easily.
Yeah.
I think so. Staying at home with the family and following the rules. You know, not risking being sick. I think it was quite easy, actually.
Yeah.
I got used to it quite quickly. I know other people that didn't get used to it very well.
That means you've got really Nordic genes. Other people have more difficulty getting used to adapting. Me, well, in my case as well, I got quite quickly used to it. I adjusted. I didn't think of another reason, like, all right, I'll go to the supermarket. You stay home, don't worry,
Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah, maybe.
So I did offer myself more frequently than.
Did you make excuses to?
No, not excuses, but when there was a reason to go outside, I would go.
I think it was quite easy to not get used to, because we're so used to going out, meeting friends, being free. Being free. You know, when you're free, you can go out and you can do what you want, more or less. But now we're told that we can't do things, and it's difficult to get used to. It's not easy.
Somebody's telling us to stay 1.5 meters.
But it's 2 meters.
It's 2 meters, right. So imagine you're single.
I'm going to have to go out of shop here.
Imagine you're single, right, Christian?
Is that 2 meters?
Not yet. Hang on. All right. We're going to move right back. Christian, can you get used to flirting with somebody like this?
Yeah, impossible.
Impossible?
Impossible. Yeah.
Unless you're Swedish.
Yeah. Any other last things that we need to speak about for phase 0? So, also, let me just explain this, right?
Yeah.
This is something new. We're trying it out. We're experimenting a bit. This is so that we don't only do webinars that are for exam prep. The next webinar, like always, is next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We're going to choose phase 1. We're going to speak about phase 1 because we will be in phase 1, but next week.
Chris,
is that right?
You are going to jump the gun a bit because we still haven't had approval.
Yes.
Like Madrid isn't passing to phase 1.
Okay, but I think Navarro will pass to phase 1. Yeah, yes. So next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, same time. Let's Get Real webinar, and we'll speak about phase 1, and we're going to choose a different grammar subject. So this today was usually, used to, be used to, or get used to. We've discussed it a little bit. We've spoken about it. I hope it was helpful. I don't think we need to do any more.
So very briefly, usually habits in the present, or if you said I usually went, habits in the past.
Yeah, if you use the past.
Used to. Habits in the past.
Yes. Habits in the past that no longer happen.
Exactly.
Is the key.
Another way to use habits in the past, would.
I would. Yes, when I was a kid.
What's the difference between used to and would, Christian?
Like, do you sort of use nostalgia when you use would? So, like, nostalgic memories?
But for example, Christian, I would have long hair. Is that possible?
No.
Exactly.
Because it's a stated.
Exactly, there you go. Yeah. So used to, we can use for anything.
Yes. I used to have long hair.
We have as a variation.
Yes.
to say like, I would visit my grandmother, but I used to have long hair.
Yeah. So anything that's a stated verb, like a state or a fact, like having long hair or living in a different city, you have to use used to. But if you're speaking about, I think that the best way to describe it personally is when you think about memories in the past or nostalgic. Like, remember when you used to play with your grandfather, and then you would say, on Saturdays we would go to the local forest and play in the forest. So you can use would for past habits as well, but not for stated verbs. It's things like, what did we say?
Used to go, used to visit.
So memories and nostalgic things.
Used to stay.
You know. Yeah. So next week, hopefully, we're in phase 1. We're going to speak about that, and we're going to choose another grammar subject to cover.
By the way, if you have any grammar topics you would like us to speak about,
send us a message.
Yeah.
We'll do
comment on YouTube,
happily.
Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place, aren't we, Christian?
We're on everything.
Everything.
We're on all social. I've got one here.
I'm not used to this. I'm really not used to this.
Right. I'll have to take care of this then. Right. I think that's us finished. We hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to have to turn this off now.
All right.
See you on Tuesday for phase 1. Bye. End. How do we end this?